If your dog drags its butt across the floor, stop laughing. This might not be funny. It could be a warning. Imagine this. You're sitting at home, maybe you're watching TV. Everything feels normal, and then suddenly your dog stands up, walks a few steps, and starts dragging its butt across the carpet. You laugh. Most people do. Maybe you even call their name, but your dog turns back and looks at you, calm, quiet, almost like nothing happened. And that's where most people get it wrong, because your dog is not being silly. Your dog is trying to tell you something. Dogs don't speak like humans. They don't explain pain. They don't say, hey, something feels wrong. Instead, they show it through behavior, through small actions, through patterns you might ignore. And one of those behaviors is scooting. So why do dogs drag their butt on the ground? The answer is deeper than most people think. When your dog feels discomfort, its brain sends a simple message: fix it. But here's the problem. Dogs don't have hands. They can't scratch properly. They can't point to the pain. So they use the only tool they have, the ground. From a dog psychology perspective, this is called self-relief behavior. Your dog is trying to reduce discomfort on its own. It might look funny to you, but for your dog, it's a solution. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not all scooting is just physical. Some of it is learned behavior. Think about this. The first time your dog did it, you reacted. Maybe you laughed. Maybe you gave attention. And your dog noticed that. In psychology, this is called reinforcement learning. When a behavior gets a reaction, the brain remembers it. So your dog thinks, if I do this, I get attention. And slowly, that behavior becomes a habit. Not always because something is wrong, but because it worked before. This is exactly where most dog owners misunderstand their pets. They assume it's just funny, it's normal, it's nothing serious. But that's not always true, because sometimes scooting is your dog's way of dealing with real discomfort. Veterinary experts and animal behavior researchers have found that this behavior can be linked to anal gland pressure, skin irritation or allergies, parasites like worms, poor hygiene, or even stress and anxiety. And each of these creates a different psychological response. Pain creates urgency, irritation creates repetition, and anxiety creates habits. But here's something most people don't realize. Dogs learn fast. If something gives them even a little relief, they will repeat it again and again until it becomes routine. So when you see your dog dragging its butt, you're not just seeing a random act, you're seeing a signal, a coping mechanism, a message. Now, let's break a common myth. Many people believe this behavior is always serious. That's not completely true. Sometimes it's temporary, a small irritation, something minor. But ignoring it repeatedly, that's where the real problem begins. Because dogs don't communicate with words, they communicate with behavior. And if you ignore small signals, the behavior becomes stronger, more frequent, more urgent. So what should you actually do? First, observe. Notice when it happens. Is it frequent? After eating? After going outside? Second, look for signs: redness, swelling, unusual behavior. Third, stay calm. Don't laugh, don't encourage it, because your reaction can turn it into a habit. And most importantly, if it keeps happening, don't ignore it, because behind every repeated behavior, there is always a reason. Dogs live in a silent world. They don't complain, they don't explain, they show through actions, through patterns, through behavior. And sometimes the behaviors we laugh at are the ones we should pay attention to the most. So the next time your dog scoots across the floor, pause, look closely, because your dog is not trying to be funny. It might be trying to be understood. If you want to truly understand your dog, not just what they do, but why they do it, subscribe. Because once you start noticing these signals, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. You have not enough humanizer words left. Upgrade your surfer plan.